So welcome to the team call, you guys, for the 10th of October. Hard to believe that we are approaching mid-month. I can't find my glasses, so I can't see a ton. If you are commenting in the chat, bear with me because I can't really read very much, but I can't find my glasses, so it is what it is. Happy Thanksgiving, Canadian coaches. I appreciate you being on, knowing that it's a holiday. I know for me, my kids are like getting if you are not muted, I'm going to go ahead and mute you all. Forget it. You're all muted. Yeah, so I appreciate you being on. I know for me, like, it doesn't really matter that it's a holiday because for me it's 9 o'clock and my kids are in bed and tomorrow's school. So what better time to have a team call than tonight? So tonight I want to talk about a few hard truths and things that I think sometimes we overlook. And we can get lost in as we build our businesses. And when we lose sight of this, we lose sight of everything. So I want to start off with saying success is what you attract by the person you become. I'll say that again. Success is what you attract by the person you become. It's not what you need to do to be successful. It's who you need to become to be successful. So I want you to ask yourself, who do I need to become to be successful? What are the qualities and characteristics that you need to have in your life, that you need to identify with, that need to be part of who you are in order for you to propel yourself forward in this business? It's not what, it's who. So are you going to be a resourceful person? Are you going to be a what? What are you going to do to become someone different so that you can propel yourself forward in this business? I find a lot of times in the business, and this comes from a little bit of discussion that I've been having with my success partners over the last few days. We are planning some new training that is talking all about this. And I think, for me, from the day that I became a coach, I had a really solid why. I had a really solid set of goals, and I've consistently and perpetually been working toward achieving those goals every single day of my business. And what I think sometimes we overlook when we get started, and this is partially my fault, not making it something bigger when we first start and drilling it home with my leaders, is establishing the difference between goals and your why. Do you guys know the difference between your goals and your why? Your why is the thing that's going to propel you forward when you want to quit. Your why is the thing that you should be establishing first and foremost with every single client that you have. Somebody said to me yesterday, I'm okay to work out and I get all that, but how do I stay motivated? And I said, that has nothing to do with me. That has absolutely zero to do with me. Motivation is intrinsic and is a very, very personal thing. You need to determine how you are going to stay motivated. Your motivation comes from your why and your goals. It has absolutely nothing to do with me. I can post, I can talk, I can lead, I can guide, I can inspire, but motivation, that has nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing. That is something that you need to dig deep with and you need to understand and determine for yourself. It's a very personal and very subjective thing. So I remove myself from that entirely, and I will remove myself from that entirely in your businesses because it's something that you need to determine. You need to know what your why is, and you need to know and identify what your goals are in order for you to be able to stick with this when times get tough. Contrary to popular belief, success is not a straight line. Success is very messy. It looks like this. There are a shit ton of high highs and a shit ton of low lows. And let me tell you, there are going to be moments that you cry, that you rock back and forth, that you think, this is not worth it, I want to quit. But if you're going to up and quit like this, then your why is not strong enough, nor are your goals. So if you are not making the progress that you want in your business, your goals aren't big enough, nor are they clearly defined enough. I want you to ask yourself, do I seriously and legitimately have goals defined for this business? When I started coaching, did I write down my goals? If your goals are wishy-washy and just floating around in your brain, they're like marbles. They're just bumping into each other and you're wandering aimlessly. If you don't have a goal that you're shooting toward, you're shooting blindly, right? When you do anything, you know, when you're writing a report that your boss wants you to do, you have an end goal in sight. You have a reason why you're writing it and a purpose, and there's an outcome that you're seeking. So what is the outcome you are seeking in this business, right? You need to have them on paper. If they're not on paper, then you're aiming like blindly. You're wandering aimlessly. Okay? Okay. It's a skill to learn how to effectively set goals. It's not something that's ever been a strong suit of mine. In fact, I look up to my success partners because, and many of you know my success partners, Brooke Dorset, Stephanie Burgos, and Julie Henderson, and they have this insane ability to reverse engineer everything. They can tell you step by step how to do everything. They can look at the end goal and then reverse engineer everything. If we want to do a group training on this, they are so capable of narrowing it down to topics all the way back to the very first day. And I'm like, that is so emerald. And I am not an emerald personality. I don't do facts, figures, details. Like it's a learned thing. It's a skill. So just because you're not good at that right now doesn't mean that you can't become good at it by following other people who model those behaviors. So you can learn from other people who are, you know, good at those things. And when we do put together this training group, I want you guys to be in there. We are going to be talking about everything that I'm addressing on the call tonight, which are goals and knowing your why and being true to yourself. Okay, so you've got to map out your vision. You have to ultimately know why you're doing this. Successful people have a clear, compelling, white-hot why. Okay, clear, hot, and they have a specific direction that they want to go in, and they always figure out the how because of that. The how is easy when you have a strong, compelling why, okay? It's the why is behind everything. All of the hows of your business are completely meaningless without your why. Your why needs to be powerful enough to keep you going. So until you've set your desires and your motivations in place, you're going to quit just like a freaking New Year's resolution. It's just going to be one of those other things that you can bail on like this. It's not something that you're going to fight for if you don't. So let me tell you, when I first started coaching, what my first goal was. My why was different. My why always changes. It's always morphing a little bit. Like ultimately I'm doing this because I want to help other people, but I'm doing it because I didn't want to send another child back to daycare. I didn't want to get a text from somebody telling me when my daughter took her first step. I didn't want somebody, you know, being there for those first moments that I wanted to experience as a parent. I wanted to be self-employed so that I could set the rules. I wanted to be able to be at school for volunteer stuff with my children. I didn't want to be that mom who was never there. I now get to volunteer in my children's classrooms, and I see those children whose parents can never come. Those parents who are stuck in a 9-to-5 and who believe that that is the only way of life. They are slaving away for someone else's bottom line, and they hate their life, they hate their job, and it's very hard for them to find happiness in life. Very, very hard. They're going through the steps of life, living monotonously and just trying to find glimmers of hope and excitement from holiday to holiday, from weekend to weekend. I didn't want to live that life, and I was not going to accept that that was a life that I had to live. So many people are like, well, this is life. Yeah, fuck you, it is. No, it's not. Like, I'm not okay with that. That is not life. I know that life is more than that, and I'm starting to live it. I'm able to show up and be in my kids' classrooms, and I'm able to be present for the things that I want to be present for. I'm able to say, no, you know what? I'm not coming to work today because today I'm going to do something fun with my family. It's so much more than helping people. It's a life that I want for myself and my family, and that is not selfish. That is a reason to do something and a purpose to do something. Okay? So my goals are different. My goals when I started were to be able to do this full time. I didn't want to go back to work. My husband said, if you can make what you made on EI, then you don't have to go back to work. So I had 6 months to make what I was making on EI, or I would have to go and find a job. And I was determined at that point. I need to close my Facebook. Sorry, guys. I was determined at that point. Somehow there is another browser open that is giving me notifications. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay. So I did it. I did it. There was no question. I wasn't going to go back to work. So I had a goal. I knew that I needed to make a certain amount of money, which meant that I needed to reverse engineer how I was going to do that, right? So if you have a goal right now, let's say you want to quit your job. What does that look like on paper? What does it look like for you to walk away from your full-time job? How much money does that look like? What does that look like on paper? How much money do you need to make every 2 weeks in order to match the income that you're making at your full-time job? What does that look like weekly? And if you're breaking it down weekly, what does that look like in terms of challenge pack sales? If you're making Success Club 10 non-negotiable, how many challenge packs do you need to sell per week in order to hit Success Club 10? Okay? And then look at the money that you would need to be making in team cycle bonuses. If you're making $14 every cycle as an Emerald coach, that's 200 volume, 100 volume on every leg. So how much does that need to be in order for you to make a set amount of money? For me, I wanted to make $1,000 a week in team cycle bonuses. $1,000 a week. After I reached that first goal of making $804 every 2 weeks, my second goal was to do whatever it took to make a consistent weekly income of $1,000 a week. Okay? That was a goal of mine. So I needed to know what that looked like and how big I needed to grow my team in order to get there. You can actually look at it as how many coaches you need to have on your team and how many challenge packs that you need to sell to get there. So it's one thing to know how to post on social media. It's one thing to know how to work out. But it's something else entirely to be shaken in your boots by something that someone says who's judging you, by getting a paycheck that's $0 or feeling like a complete failure when you start comparing yourself to someone else when you don't have a clearly defined why, because you'll quit. You don't give two shits about it at that point, and you're not invested because it doesn't matter, and it's meaningless, completely meaningless if you haven't established why you're doing this and what those goals look like, okay? So the fortitude of your commitment isn't great enough. I really liked this quote. The fortitude of your commitment isn't great enough. You need to have why power. I like that. You need to have your why power. Connect it with your desires and your dreams and align your purpose and your core self with your values. And this means like that it's something deeper than just helping people. We need to dig deeper than that. A lot of people say, well, my why is that I want to help people. Like, that's fair. It's fair that you want to help people, but there's ultimately a reason, a selfish reason why you're doing this for yourself. You know, you're working out for a reason. Why did you start exercising? How are you feeling about yourself, and how are you going to pay that forward and make that translate into something larger than you, larger than life, larger than selling something? Because let's be honest, the sales aren't going to keep us in this business in the first 3 months, okay? The money you make in this business is a direct reflection of the number of lives you change. But those things that are going to shake you in your boots, those things that are going to get in your way, those challenges and those moments that you feel like you want to give up, like you don't want to show up, like none of this is worth it, you're going to believe them if you don't have a reason to stick with it, right? Same as when you work out. Like, it's so super easy to just give up if you lost your 5 pounds and then you're like, yeah, fuck it, whatever, I'm out. Like, because you really didn't have a reason. You weren't working towards something. You weren't thinking of the bigger picture of how it's going to make you feel. So I want you to think about, and I want you to write this down. What do you want out of this business? Don't make it about, I want to help other people. What do you want? You can ultimately want to help other people, but what do you want at the core of your soul out of this business? What do you want and why? Why do you want that? We're going to write it down. Like, I wanted to be self-employed because I wanted to be present in my children's lives. I want to bring my husband home from up north because I want to have a relationship in person with my partner. I want my husband here to tuck my kids in every night. I want my husband here to celebrate our birthdays. He was gone for 3 years. That's not a marriage, right? Deep. You've got to get deeper than surface level. I'm helping other people. It has to be about you. That intrinsic motivation that I was talking about with that client, this why and these reasons need to be so tightly linked to your core person and purpose that when you don't achieve them, it will make you cry. It will ultimately make you cry and rock back and forth and sob because you didn't achieve it. It has to be big, it has to be bold and audacious and hairy and scary and something that you really want in your life. I find that when we lose sight of that purpose and the passion, we can get really caught up in the things that they seem to be monotonous, mundane, everyday activities. Little things, it's like posting on social media becomes a burden. Answering your messages becomes a burden. Showing up to a team call becomes a burden. And instead of looking at all of these things as an opportunity to take one foot and put it in front of the other and make it one step toward attaining and achieving that goal, we look at it as this thing that's a burden. And if you're feeling that way right now about this business, that coaching has become a burden, then you particularly need to take a step back and reassess why you started this and where your passion has gone to. What are the small things that you are allowing into your bubble, into your mindset, into your habits or lack thereof, that are draining you of your purpose and your passion? What is it that's sucking the life out of you? Where did the purpose and the passion go? And how are you going to reignite it and refuel your passion and your purpose? I can tell you right now that personal development is one thing that, no matter how low I am, always brings me back. I am somebody who, I'm an empath, right? So when other people feel things, I feel it too. When other people are upset, I feel it too. And I take on responsibility and I want to fix it. I'm a fixer. So when September was happening and everybody around me was saying, September's a tough month, September's a tough month. People are saying it in the Wall, in Team Motivate, in the Empire Diamond Mine, in the Diamond Club. Everybody everywhere is saying September's a tough month. You know what I did? I didn't go to those groups anymore because nobody's going to tell me that September is a tough month. September is going to be the month that I set it out to be. I used my energy and I used my passion and I dug deep into my purpose. And September was an amazing month. I actually had more clients in the month of September than I've ever had. It was a great month. It was fan-freaking-tastic. But I had to put the blinders on. Because if I listened to everybody else, it was going to be a shitty month. I was totally going to believe it was that kind of month. I can tell you that now that we're out of that. But I wasn't going to come in and believe everybody and be like, oh yeah, such a bad month, such a bad month. Whether you believe it is or it isn't, you're right. You're right. Because the power of your own belief is what's going to, if you believe that it's a crappy month, then you're not going to take action to improve it. And you're not going to give extra effort. You're not going to put in 200%. You're going to chalk it up to, oh, it's a shitty month. Yeah, shitty month. Everybody's saying it, so it's a shitty month, right? No, it's not. Get out of your own way, get out of your own head, stop listening to that, and think about your purpose and your why and your passion, and use your own things to fuel your own energy. Make it intrinsic. It's not about anyone else. It's about you. So what personal development are you doing? That takes me to the next thing that I want to talk about. A lot of people will say that they're doing personal development. And gosh, Christy Krosner, that national wake-up call. And Hannah, I think you're on this call. Hannah, where are you? Are you on this call? I saw you were on this call. Maybe you're gone now. Okay, so you listened to that national wake-up call and it was freaking gold, right? Yeah, exactly. Every single word she said, I was like, I had truth bumps everywhere. If you have not listened to the national wake-up call from September 28th, make it your freaking mission to listen to that before the end of Friday. I am telling you, you need to listen to it. It is incredible. I want to listen to it again. See, the thing is, you could listen to 12 national wake-up calls and read 3 books. But if you have not taken notes and have not started taking action on what you're learning, I don't care if you listen to them at all. Because if you're not implementing, if you're not executing, if you're not applying what you're learning, you're doing nothing. You're listening to it for what? The sake of listening to it? So like, there's so many people who will say, there's one person in particular who, I know she talks about doing personal, she's not on our team, she's on our bigger team, okay? And I run into her all the time at our coaching events. And I have never met a more negative person in my life. Ever. I call bullshit. She's reading it. She's not applying it. Are you kidding me? If you're doing that much personal development and you're still that negative, then you're paying attention to life while you're reading. You're doing what I did in high school, where I had to get the Coles Notes versions because I was not paying attention to what I was reading. I was thinking about what I needed to pack for lunch the next day, what I needed to do after school. If you're not taking notes, seriously taking notes and applying what you're learning in your personal development, I don't care if you show up to 10 different calls. Show up to 1 and make it the best damn call you've ever been on and have 5 action items. I don't want you to just read personal development and do personal development for the sake of doing it. Oh, I'm going to do my 10 minutes of PD. If you're not learning something from that PD and applying it to your life that day, or that week, if it's a bigger thing, or that month, then it's a waste. You're wasting your time and you're like a hamster in a wheel. Like, you might as well not even bother doing it, because it's a waste, right? How many people do you know who even a coach on your own team maybe, who says they're doing personal development, and you can look them in the eye and be like, yeah, you might be reading it, but you're certainly not applying it. You can see it. You can see it in the way people write. You can see it in the way people think. You can see it in the way people live their life, right? This one girl that I see all the time, I'll see her coming, and it's because I'm an empath. It's like I envision that white shield around me, because it's any positive energy I have in me, I will see her and I'll be like, oh God. And I feel depleted before she even opens her mouth. I had a room next to her when we were in Cancun too. Oh my God. She just wanted to bitch about everything 24/7. And I was like, I can't do this. I cannot surround myself by somebody who perpetually bitches and is not walking the walk and talking the talk. There are coaches out there who walk the walk and talk the talk. One of them is Raina O'Dell, who led the National Wake Up Call today. She is somebody who, she lives this life, this coach life. She is walking, talking proof of this coach life. She has goals. She has vision. She has drive. She has purpose. She is doing her program. She is always plugged into some sort of fitness, and she's being true and she's being authentic. Like, that's something I think sometimes we can get caught up into as coaches. Like, you can see that there's some top coaches in the company who never work out, or very, very rarely work out. Like, that is what we are, isn't it? Isn't fitness what we are? Fitness and nutrition. So if you're not doing fitness and nutrition, what are you doing? you're just talking the talk and you're not even slightly walking the walk. Like, you've got to be invested walking the walk and talking the talk while you have your vision and your goals and your why. And then the rest of the how is just going to play itself out. The how is how, learning your audience. The how is learning how to tweak your post so that you're talking to the right person, right? Like, perfecting your posting technique it takes time. One of my new coaches had an amazing post, and God love her. I was so excited for her. And then I was like, okay, now that you've done that first post, I'm so super excited that you did it. But your very first post you did at 10:30 on a Monday night. Wah, wah. How many people are watching you for that kind of transformation post at 10:30 at night? So it was like oh yeah, right. I never thought of that. I was just so nervous and I just wanted to get the post out, and she did. She got it out, but then we had to kind of look at it again and be like, okay, now that the post is out, you've done the dirty work. Now we need to think about when we're going to do it to get max traction, right? So there's all of these little things play into your business, but they come together as one when you stop looking at failure or things that flop as proof or evidence of failure, that the business doesn't work. It's not the business that doesn't work. It has nothing to do with the business. It has everything to do with you, with me, with us, what we're doing or what we're not doing in order to propel our business forward. Which kind of takes me to, I'm reading The Compound Effect right now, trying to kind of change my little habits and behaviors in order to, the seemingly unimportant things, the little things that we don't do can add up very quickly and take our life on a whole different trajectory than what it could be going in. I do have some action items relating to that, so let me just not get too far off track. Okay, I want to go back to the perfecting your posting technique. So knowing your audience is super, super important. When you've narrowed down your why, you've narrowed down your goals, you have a vision, you have a purpose, now you can start working on perfecting your posting technique and identifying who your target audience is. If you're a mom who drops your kids off at school at 10 to 9 in the morning, are you going to post at 10 to 9 in the morning when all of your other mommy friends are in their cars rushing with their kids? No. Why would you bother? You're not going to post until like 9:30 when moms are done chit-chatting in the parking lot at school and they're sitting at home now able to scroll Facebook because their kids are in school. Knowing what your people are doing is going to help you to perfect your posting technique, right? And then understanding what they're into, what they like. I know that like attracts like. So people, I attract people who feel like they're shitty moms. So I talk about being a shitty mom all the time because I know people relate to that with me. Like, it's just, I just suck at momming sometimes and lifing. It is what it is. But when you start sharing bits and pieces of who you are and your struggles, and you're going to attract people who are like you, and you want to post when people like you are online. So a great post is a post that evokes emotion. It's a post that makes somebody feel. It makes somebody want to have a piece of what it is that you're doing. There's a reason why when I post on social, and some other people on the call post on social, that they post and they talk about their old selves. They post about the way that they felt leaving a change room. I never want to leave a change room empty-handed again, or I never want to be sweating the way that I was sweating in a change room. I never want to feel that way that I felt not wanting the lights on when we were when I'm spending time with my husband, because I was too ashamed and embarrassed of what I looked like. I never want my child to feel like when they go out in the summer at the splash pad with their kids that they need to hide behind a t-shirt. I want to own it. I want to take that t-shirt off and be like, yeah, this is my post baby body, and I'm working on it every single day. I'm working on being healthy, being happy, and loving myself, every little bit of myself and all my imperfections. That's going to evoke emotion in a mom who feels insecure in her own body, who's trying to hide behind a t-shirt and feels insecure at the splash pad, right? Emotion, that's what we want to evoke in posts. We want people to want to join us. And when you evoke emotion in them, I can't even tell you how many times I'll post something and somebody will say, that last post that you did made me cry ugly tears. That's exactly what I needed to hear in order for me to change my life. Thank you for posting that. I'm ready to change. It's emotion. I'm literally speaking to their heart and putting a knife in it sometimes. I'm talking to the old me, and I wish somebody had been there saying those things to me when I needed it, because I would have changed a whole lot quicker than what I did. I sure would have. But not everybody's going to listen, and not everybody's going to feel. Some people may feel and they may shut you out. Some people may feel and be like, oh, dude, I want nothing to do with you anymore because you just hurt me in the feels and you're a bitch and I'm not ready to own that yet. So it's okay. It's okay if they walk away. It's just that they're not ready to hear it right now. But when you hit people where it hurts the most, in the feels, that's when they're going to change. That's when they're going to say, yeah, I want to do this. I need to change once and for all. But no matter what you do, you always have to remember to stay true to you. You're not someone else and someone else isn't you. One of the biggest things, the biggest traps that you can get into in this business is comparing yourself to someone else. Comparison is a thief of joy. You're not me. I'm not you. So try to be yourself and the truest version of yourself that you are. But remember that you can have little micro content bits and pieces of yourself in all the different areas that you're in. You know, I don't act the same way around my husband as I do around my husband's grandmother. I am the same person at the core of me, right? And I'm true to who I am, which is my brand. But I just present it in a different way. So I want you to remember that when you are posting on social and you're posting on Pinterest and Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, you don't have the same people following you in all those different places, okay? So you need to really understand that when it comes down to your posting technique as well, okay? Your posting technique has to be true to your brand, but true to the audience that you're with. So, you know, consider what your people like on Instagram versus your people on Facebook. They're very, very different people, very, very different segments. So you may have to alter the micro content of your posts. Do you know what I mean? Like Twitter people don't like the same thing as Facebook people, right? They're all very different segments. Like Snapchat is very different from Facebook, right? So the micro content still needs to be true to your brand and who you are. What is your message? When you know the message that you're trying to convey, the content is easy. The message, you need to understand the message. And again, the message is related to what you're trying to achieve, right? When you're writing a paper, what is the ultimate goal? You're trying to convince someone of a certain belief. So you need to understand what it is that you want people to do on the other end of your post, right? I haven't seen any of the chats. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, yay. What else did I want to talk about? There's a couple different things just based on the tone and everything that I'm seeing and where we're at. I mean, there's a couple different strategies and things that I've been doing that have obviously been helping in my business lately. I don't know if you guys are open to listening to that, if you want a couple tips for the direction that I'm kind of heading. Like Beachbody On Demand that's where everything's going, right? Beachbody On Demand is where everything is. So I feel like if we're not jumping on the bod wagon, we're kind of missing the wagon. So I went live last week talking about Beachbody On Demand, and was like, my challenge started today. So I wanted to talk about all the different excuses people have. So people have time, money, I mean, whatever. They have all of these excuses. So I was like, I want to help you get rid of one excuse, and that's money. While I do believe that when people don't invest in something, they don't give it nearly as much effort because there's nothing on the table, there's no skin in the game, I am going to give you an opportunity to join my challenge without investing a single penny. So I'm opening this up to you. I'm going to give you, if you message me after this live, an opportunity to join my challenge for free, where you can try out every single program that we have, where you can try before you buy, never invest a penny, but you still get the added benefit of being part of a community and being part of, this sense of, I want to change my life with other people who have invested. Okay, so if you're ready, if you're really ready and you want to change, that excuse is gone, okay? So now it just comes down to the fact that you are lazy or you don't have enough time, and I call bullshit. And that really helped. I think I had like 25 new people just contact me and be like, yep, I'm ready to go. That is so super easy. Most of the time in my challenge, within the first week to two, people start seeing other people posting about Shakeology and about different programs and stuff. And I follow up with them and ask them what kind of thing they're liking. And the posts that I have in my challenge group, I talk about the 3-day refresh. I talk about the subscription for Beachbody On Demand and the importance of Shakeology and really drive that home. So typically by the middle of my challenge group, and then even with the forms that I have in the last 2 weeks, I ask them about if they've considered investing in a program for the next challenge. And at that point, they naturally tend to bring it up with me, or I bring it up with them in our weekly follow-ups. It just seems to be a really natural transition. So if you have Beachbody On Demand clients in your challenge group, I would recommend having them in a list so that you're able to follow up with them, ask them how they're liking Beachbody On Demand, and if there's a particular trainer or a style that they are liking, so that you can help to identify a challenge pack that may be suitable for them. Really great question, Alora. I know I have a message from you. I need to get back to you. We had lots of fun family time at Brantwood Farms tonight, and then, school tomorrow. So kind of been mumming. So yeah, that was something that was really awesome. And then again, not yesterday, the day before, just before my workout, I was like, you know what? How many people hear me talk about Beachbody On Demand and this try before you buy thing, and they've never seen what it is? So I went live and I showed them what it looked like, what it looks like, the member library, and where you go and how you log in. And then I went and selected my workout and I started my workout. I was like, okay, I gotta go. My workout's starting. But I was like, this is what it is. Like it's a try before you buy thing, and there's some sample workouts here and there's full programs here. And people were like, oh my God, I had no idea. How cool is that? Like, and you can do it. And I showed them how I hooked up my computer to my TV and talked about how you can stream it from a smart TV, and people were all over that. So again, my challenge, I think I was at a really great number of like 28 people, and now I'm at like 62 over the last few days. So there are a lot of Beachbody On Demand clients, but that means what? Out of all of those clients, how many people may potentially invest in something, or may keep the subscription, or may decide to become a coach? Like, I'm not closing the door to anybody. I just want you to know the importance of providing value, and give without any expectation of something in return. When you don't have expectations for something in return, that's when you're going to get return back tenfold. It's karma, right? Just give and just want to give so that you can help someone be better. I think that's really, I have a list of topics I wanted. Okay, there is one more thing before I open it up. Failure. There's such thing as the failure freeway. Have you been riding the failure freeway? Anybody been riding the failure freeway? Typically when we ride the failure freeway, we want to stay on that, or we end up staying on it unless we turn around and check ourselves and look in the mirror and acknowledge what we are doing that is keeping us on the failure freeway. A lot of people will find a way to blame anything and anyone else for the failure instead of leaning in and identifying what they are not doing or what they are doing that is causing them to go in the direction of failure. So don't keep doing the same things if they're not working. If what you're doing isn't working, why are you doing them still? Why? You need to change. Okay? This is not static. None of this is static, and you are not static. You're doing personal development every single day. I know you are, because that's one of the 4 vital behaviors that we're supposed to do every single day. So if you're doing your flipping PD, then you're changing, which means that you should be growing. Don't keep doing the same things if they're not working, right? If you do something you've always done, you're going to get what you've always gotten. Even Autumn says that in her workout, right? Find a small little thing that you can tweak and tweak it. If you're not sure what that is, reach out to your coach or reach out to the group, reach out to me and say, Alida, can you take a look at my social? Can you take a look at this? Or ask somebody, your accountability partner. I always say, come to me, don't come to me. You should have an accountability partner first, because I'm only one person. Get your accountability partner or somebody else who's successful in this business to come and look at your social and provide you with 3 suggestions, right? There's always something we can tweak and change. That's why I have 3 success partners. I'm constantly like, okay, girls, this is what I'm sucking at right now. Help me fuel fire into my coaches. Help me to change up my challenge groups. Help me to become better on social. Like, those people help me to learn and grow every single day. But failure is normal. If you're not failing, you're not growing. If you're not failing, you're not taking risks, right? It's great to fail. Successful people fail all the time. Success is not a straight line. It's freaking messy. It's gross, and it's really, really ugly when you dissect it and actually look at all of its pieces. But ultimately, you need to find the exit off the failure freeway. Remove the you from failure. It's not you that's failing. It's what you're doing that's failing, okay? You can't let failure outside of you get inside of you and define you. You are not failure. What you're doing is failing. Okay? There's a big, big difference. Every major challenge or difficulty you face in life is a fork in the road. You choose which track you head down, toward breakdown or breakthrough. It's your choice. It's pretty cool. We have the option to change, fail forward. So, action items from tonight's call. I'm going to start with this one because I think it's important and it relates to failure. I want you to identify 3 things. 3 things that you are not doing in your business right now that you know you need to be doing in order to move forward. You know what those are. They're the things you don't want to do. They're the things, Alicia, you're smirking. You always do, and I always get you on this one, don't I? You know what it is. It's something, it's like that frog that you need to eat that you're absolutely terrified of because it's comfortable, but you need to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because when you're uncomfortable, that's where growth happens and change happens and yada, 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 yada. I talk about the same shit all the time. The 3 things that you're not doing that you know you need to do. And maybe it would help you to measure or track. Okay? Sometimes you can't measure your progress because you're not tracking it. So who here has not heard of the power of 3s? Who's not heard of the power of 3s? I know some of you haven't heard of the power of 3s. Power of 3s is an amazing tool. When I upload the team call, I will upload that as a resource. It is on the team training site, but the power of 3s is a way of tracking every single day your invites for 3 people, your follow-up messages. Is that your power of 3s? Your follow-ups with your 3 people? Look at that. And that's measuring progress and tracking progress. And Laura just earned herself her ticket to Summit, right? So there's something to be said for that. That is the power of 3s. She is tracking her daily activities. And when you track them, you move yourself forward. I'm learning this again in the compound effect. So it's, look at something and measure it every single day. And at some point, you're not going to want to get out your book to measure it. It becomes burdensome, like every time you spend money, you're going to have to get out your book and track it. So you just don't want to spend money anymore because you don't want to track it. And it becomes something that you change. Seemingly unimportant things. So if you have not been adding 3 friends on Facebook every single day, add that to your list. I'm going to add 3 people every day, and then use a tracking system that you track it every single day. By the end of the week, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, you're going to have 21 new friends on Facebook. That's 21 potential new clients and eyes on you. Guys, that's a huge flipping deal. So if you're not doing it, you need to freaking do it. You're holding yourself back. It's not the business structure. It's your lack of action, right? Okay. And then I want you to identify 3 small things that you need to stop doing in your business. What are 3 things that you're doing right now that, number 1, are not important? They're not taking your business forward. Number 2, are setting you back from being successful in your business. I don't know what number 3 is. I'm thinking of these off the top of my head. What are the 3 small things you need to stop doing? Okay, something that is not helping you in your business. A lot of people chase shiny objects. They spend time, you're wasting your time building a website when you don't even have a coach on your team. Why are you building a website? Why? Why are you doing? Because you're wasting time because you don't want to do the things that matter, that are going to take your business forward? Because you're chasing shiny things because it looks pretty and it takes up the time? I don't know, but it's fluff. You don't need it. Trim the fat. Get rid of that and do something else that's important that's going to move your business forward, which is inviting people, messaging people, following up with people, doing your PD, doing your social, right? Those are the things that matter. For me, I'll give you a few little things that I'm changing. You love me. So I'm actually having a glass of wine tonight because I didn't have dessert today, and everybody else had dessert. And I said, if I'm not having dessert, I'm having a glass of wine. So that was something I established before, and that's something that I have not been doing. I established a goal that I was only going to drink wine on Friday nights, and here I am having a glass on Sunday. I'm going to get up early, 6 o'clock every day, so that I can do a little bit of work before my kids get up. Sean and I are setting our alarms actually at 5:30 to get up and work out tomorrow morning before the kids wake up, because the baby wakes up every day at 6 now. So we're getting up to work out at 5:30. And I'm drinking black coffee instead of adding all kinds of stuff to it. Little things that are going to make a big difference in my business. No wine at night, getting up early, and not adding extra junk to my coffee. They can be small, but those seemingly small things adding up over time have a massive compound effect. Huge. So I want you to identify those small things, 3 things that you're going to implement to create massive change in your business. And now I'm going to stop talking. I went way over time, and I want to allow you guys to talk if you want to, or to peace out if you want to peace out. I will stay on until at least 10 o'clock. Well, it says 10 o'clock on my computer. It is 10 o'clock. Oh, shit. If you want to ask me any questions. You can do it over 45 minutes, Aubrey. I've done them for like 2 hours, I think. I just had to give them a password. There was something that I had to do. I had to authenticate myself. I'm not sure if that was an option that popped up for you. I authenticated myself and it let me do it. So I would say try again and see if something comes up. Yeah, I'm not really positive on that. Oh, I'm so glad. I wanted to make sure that it was something that would be worth your time, especially on the holiday. And, you guys out west, it's like 6, 7 o'clock, and I respect you and I value your time, but I also want you to take something away from the calls. So does anyone have any questions? I can unmute all of you at the same time. I get scared of doing that because I have no idea what's going on in the background. Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad you guys came. It's nice to see faces and learn from you guys, and you guys learn from me, and oh, yay, me too. Thanks, guys. Peace out if you need to, but if you have a question, seriously, unmute yourself and ask me. Gloria, I know you probably have a shit ton of them because you're just getting started. But
too many.
Yeah, but you're gonna get there. Gloria's brand new to our team. Like, I signed up yesterday or something, so I'm impressed that you are on the team call. Clearly followed the instructions very well, because I did not tell you we had a team call tonight. So I'm impressed. I note these things. I'm very impressed. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad, you guys.
Thank you.
I know, and Babe was sleeping. Not anymore. I don't know. Gloria was nursing on our opportunity webinar. I'm like, nice to meet you and your titties. Anyway, okay. I love you guys. I'm going to go and see my husband before we go to bed and get up super early tomorrow. Hold me to it. 5:30 is gross. I love you guys. Mwah.